is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
(6:15). This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Catherine Pereira and read by Lavani Vijayatunga. First, we take a look at the headlines. Measures have been taken to recruit 16,085 graduate teachers. A new program will be initiated targeting employment of rural youth to strengthen the village economy. The equality of men and women to be ensured through the proposed Gender Equality Draft Bill. President Ranil Wickremesinghe will contest the forthcoming presidential election as the leader of the UNP. In news overseas, early counting suggests close race in Taiwan. Those are the headlines, and now let's move on to the details of the local news. Minister Susil Premachand says that measures have been taken to recruit 16,085 graduate teachers. Out of this number, 14,385 teachers will be for the southern province and 1,700 for the national schools. It is expected to recruit these teachers after completing the ongoing advanced level examinations. Teachers are to be recruited for science, mathematics, languages and technology. Accordingly, 3,750 such teachers will be recruited to the provincial council schools. State Minister Geeta Kumarasinghe says that the equality of men and women will be ensured through the proposed Gender Equality Draft Bill. A council in this regard should be established. She made these remarks at a media briefing held in Colombo recently. Data will be gathered on Division Secretariat level to look into the number of mothers who have migrated, leaving their children under the age of 5. Therefore, it is hoped to amend the minimum age of 5 years. Measures will also be taken to set up CCTV cameras in commuter transport buses in order to minimize the violation against women in buses. A new program will be implemented to train preschool teachers as well. Parliamentarian Dhammika Pereira says a new program should be initiated targeting employment for rural youth to strengthen the village economy. He made this remark at a ceremony held at the Tissamaharama area. A program to provide 1 million jobs for rural youth community has also begun at this ceremony. This is the news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
People's Bank Excelsior. Live the life you want.
And we continue with more local news. Chairman of the UNP, Parliamentarian Vajira Abeyewardena said that the present president has not acted on narrow political mileage in the backdrop of the economic collapse in the country. He made this remark at a meeting at the Galle Town Hall this morning. The president has taken his utmost efforts to develop the country within the 19 months after assuming office. Several draft bills have been amended to control the bribery and corruption. President Ranil Wickremesinghe will contest the upcoming presidential elections as the leader of the UNP. A proposal in this regard was also passed. The Asidhisi Scholarship Program for the journalists, which is being conducted annually, will be conducted on Tuesday at 1 p.m. at the Ministry of Media. It will be held under the patronage of Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena. The objective of this program is the development of conceptual knowledge of the journalists. And to conclude the local news, the headlines once again. Measures have been taken to recruit 16,085 graduate teachers. A new program to be initiated targeting employment for rural youth to strengthen the village economy. The equality of men and women to be ensured through the proposed Gender Equality Draft Bill. President Ranil Wickremesinghe will contest at the forthcoming presidential election as the leader of the UNP. And that was the local news.
People's Bank Excelsior, a comprehensive banking services package with a branded checkbook as well as debit and credit card exclusively for you. People's Bank Excelsior, for professionals who dare to dream.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala.
main news story for this evening, Japanese finance minister who visited the island has engaged in an observation tour at the Sri Javardhanapura hospital. He also observed the nursing academy of the University of Colombo at the hospital. It was donated by the government of Japan. There is a high demand for foreign jobs overseas for groups who receive education at this nursing academy. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Vedamahatmya.
This is Watchlight.
An earth slip was reported at the Varadolavatte estate in Badal Kumra today, the Disaster Management Centre said. However, 64 persons from 21 families have been evacuated from the area before the earth slip occurred, according to the DMC. And that came to you in Watchlight.
Coming up, World News.
Headlines of the world news. Early counting suggests close race in Taiwan. Jacinda Ardern marries partner Clark Gayford in a private ceremony. Amazon rainforest deforestation rate halved in the year 2023. Those are the headlines, and now let's move on to the details of the world news. Voting has ended and counting is underway in Taiwan's presidential election in a vote which will determine the territory's future ties with China. Taiwan is a democratic island that governs itself, but it is claimed by mainland China and has no international recognition as a country. Early counting shows a tight race between the ruling Democratic Progressive Party, which is seeking a third term, and the main opposition, Kuomintang or KMT. DPP candidate William Lai has been labelled a troublemaker by China, who warned people against voting for him, while KMT is promising better ties with Beijing and peace in the Taiwan Strait. New Zealand's former Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has married her long-term partner Clark Gayford in a small private ceremony in North Island. The couple had intended to tie knots in the year 2022 but cancelled during strict COVID restrictions that Mrs. Ardern's government imposed on the country. Ms. Ardern gave a 5-minute wedding speech to dozens of guests. The couple have been together for a decade and have a 5-year-old daughter, Neve, together. The rate of deforestation in Brazil's Amazon fell by nearly 50% in the year 2023 compared to the previous year, space agency data suggests. Brazil's environmental ministry said it was the lowest recorded deforestation rate in the last 5 years. Though smaller than the previous years, the deforested area still is more 6 times than the size of the New York City. President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva pledged to end deforestation by the year 2030 when he took office a year ago. Preliminary data from the National Space Agency INPE shows 5,153 square kilometers of Amazon were cleared in the year 2023, down from 10,278 square kilometers in the year 2022. And that was the world news.
Development news.
Kudabadigama, however, will be renovated by the Veerakatiya Irrigational Engineering Office. More than 30 million rupees will be spent for the project. Water supply will be provided to the 350 acres of paddy lands. And that came to you in the segment of Development News.
Moving on with sports news.
The first T20 match between the visiting New Zealand team and the Sri Lankan team will be played at the R. Premadasa Stadium tomorrow. The match is scheduled to begin at 7 p.m. 3 T20 matches are to be played between the two nations, and Vadidhu Hasaranga will be captaining the T20 team. That is the sports news. Business news coming up.
Go ekak thiyana youth ekata life ekේ change ekata niyameta set wenna as wahagena dakapu veena habe karanna youth ekata niyameta set wenna friendship eka menna.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business news, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
In business news, Sri Lanka, the 4th most popular destination for solo travelers in the year 2024, gives visitors a chance to experience a major travel trend, slow travel by train. Thompson of Flashback said, after a tremendous few years, Sri Lanka is making a big comeback and its iconic upcountry train routes are a major part of this appeal. With more US travellers adding to an uptick in the interest from the UK customers this year, 2024 will be the moment when it all comes together and Sri Lanka once again rules the travel charts for slow, immersive adventure, the report noted, describing Sri Lanka. That was the business news. Economic news follows.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go එකක් තියන youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
In economic news, economic development program of rural people was initiated in the Kampar district under the Alut Kamak Alut Ratak development program. Several development programs are underway at the divisional secretariat level. That is the economic news and the weather report to conclude.
Weather report.
A few showers may occur in the central and Nuwa provinces. Mainly fair weather will prevail elsewhere over the island. Fairly strong winds, about 40 km per hour, can be expected at times in the Uva, central and northwestern provinces and in the Ampara, Hambantota and Kagala districts. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the Sabaragamuwa and central provinces and in the Gaul and Mathura districts during the morning hours too. And before we conclude this bulletin, let's get back to the headlines once again. Measures have been taken to recruit 16,085 graduate teachers. A new program will be initiated targeting employment for rural youth to strengthen the village economy. The equality of men and women to be ensured through the proposed Gender Equality Draft Bill. President Ranil Wickremesinghe will contest at the forthcoming presidential election as the leader of the UNP. In news overseas, early counting suggests close race in Taiwan. And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news. Now it's back to your regular Saturday evening host and my good friend Shandiva on the other side of the glass panel to keep you entertained.